If you think that you procrastinate because you are lazy, you are unmotivated, or lack of discipline, then keep watching this video. I'm going to break down the real psychological reasons why we procrastinate and simple strategies to get out of it. If you are new here, hi, I'm Skye. I'm a hypnotherapist and I work with creatives and content creators who want to overcome their fear of showing up online as their authentic selves. And on this channel, we talk about all things hypnotherapy and how to grow your confidence in your arts as a creative. Have you ever experienced this before where you need to start doing something? You need to do either a business idea, filming a content, or starting the difficult conversation. Suddenly, you feel very tired, overwhelmed, distracted, or just unmotivated. And when you start experiencing these feelings, then you will start self-criticizing yourself, asking like, why am I like this? What's wrong with me? Why can't I just do it? And you start beating yourself up. Procrastination is one of the most misunderstood behaviors in psychology. Many people believe that they procrastinate because they have a discipline issue, a time management problem, or they just purely don't have the willpower. From a psychological perspective, procrastination is an emotional regulation strategy. What I mean by that is that your brain is trying to protect you from something that feels uncomfortable, unsafe, or even threatening to your identity. If we were to dive even deeper, you will notice that you don't procrastinate on every single thing in your life. You only procrastinate on specific things, things that might expose you to judgment, things that might change how people see you, or even how you see yourself. In this video, we will dive deep into our subconscious mind to uncover the underlying psychological reasons behind procrastination. This video won't be able to cover every single psychological reasons that might cause procrastination, but I will discuss the most common ones. By the end of the video, I want you to stop asking yourself, how do I force myself to be more disciplined? But to start asking, what is my brain trying to protect me from? Once you understand that, I promise you, everything changes. One of the biggest drivers of procrastination is fear of failure. Many people think that fear of failure sounds like, I am scared I won't succeed. But the real fear is, if I fail, what does that say about me? What will others say about me? Because a lot of times it's about the identity that is tied to your intelligence, your creativity, talent, or your worth. So taking action becomes a test of who you are. Trying and failing will threaten that identity, so your brain just does something very intelligent, which is just avoid the test altogether. Because if you never try, you will never fail. You will never get the definitive proof that you are not good enough. So procrastination becomes a protective camouflage for you and protects your ego. From a neuroscience perspective, fear of failure activates the same threat system in the brain as physical danger. Your brain doesn't distinguish very well between a bear is chasing me and someone might judge me. Historically speaking, social rejection meant expulsion from the tribe, and expulsion meant not surviving. So when you're about to launch your business, speak up, post content online, or share your art, your brain interprets it as potential failure, which in turn will become a threat to belonging. So your body will freeze, you will avoid the task and feel anxious about doing it. What's interesting is that behind fear of failure, there might be a hidden secondary fear. The fear of confirming a secret belief that might look like, I'm actually not that talented. Other people are better. I am behind. It was just luck before. So if you don't try, the belief remains untested. But if you do try and fail, now it's proven. So procrastination becomes a way to preserve a hope, a fantasy of, I could have succeeded. Now, this is really important for us to dive deeper because if you think procrastination is about laziness, lack of motivation, then you will attack it with discipline. And it wouldn't work that well because you are not solving it from the root cause. It's just like putting on a band-aid over your stomach ache. But if you acknowledge that your procrastination is because of fear of failure, then you can solve it from the root cause. The solution isn't about like pushing harder, but about creating psychological safety where you separate your performance from your worth. Just because you try and fail, it doesn't mean that you are not worthy enough. Failure is just a data, a lesson for you to learn. When failure isn't tied to your self-worth anymore, then only your nervous system will be able to relax and then action becomes possible. When we talk about fear of failure, you will imagine someone who's openly afraid to try. Fear of failure doesn't always look like avoidance. Sometimes it looks like perfectionism. It looks like high standards, someone who cares a lot, or being detail oriented. But what's underneath perfectionism is still fear. Because perfectionism is a mask that fear of failure puts on when it wants to look productive. On the outside, it looks very admirable. You want things to be good, you care about the quality, and you don't want to put out mediocre work. Psychologically speaking, perfectionism functions as protection because if it's perfect, no one can criticize it, no one can reject it, and no one can say that you weren't good enough. So instead of avoiding the task completely, you delay finishing it. You keep tweaking, keep editing, researching, and keep planning. So the deadline keeps moving again and again and again. Perfectionism also creates black and white thinking. What I mean by that is, for example, if it's not amazing, then it's a failure. If it's not my best work, I shouldn't share it. If I can't give 100% into it, I won't start at all. So you will just wait and wait and wait until you feel confident, clearer, more inspired, or more ready before you start something. But the ready becomes a moving target. At the end of the day, perfection is not a destination, but a control strategy. If you grew up in an environment where mistakes were punished, criticism was very, very harsh, love is conditional, and being the good girl or good boy kept you safe, then perfectionism makes total sense. It's a way to control outcomes. By eliminating all flaws, you eliminate rejection, which is why perfectionism doesn't reduce fear but maintains it. Linking it back to procrastination, perfectionism increases the pressure. Pressure increases fear, and fear increases avoidance. Although perfectionists care very deeply, they tend to delay tasks, start late, or sit on ideas for months. Perfectionism is not about high standards, it's about fear. So, the more you understand that, the less you will try to push yourself into action because you can't bully yourself into doing something. So, if perfectionism is about trying to avoid failure, then the next question we need to ask is failure in whose eyes? Most of the time, we are not actually afraid of the task itself. We are afraid of what people will think. And that connects to something more primal, fear of judgment. For thousands of years, we have been wired for belonging. Being rejected by the tribe didn't just hurt your feelings, it means that you won't survive. Our brain didn't catch up with the evolution and treat social rejection as a danger. So when you do something that exposes you, like speaking up in a room, sharing an opinion, launching a business, changing your career, posting a video online, our brain sees it as a potential exile, which is why fear of judgment feels so intense. Although most of the time, no one is actively attacking you, but inside your mind, there's an imagined audience. An imagined audience who say things like, who do you think you are? You are not qualified. They are going to think that this is stupid. Your family will judge you. What if this flops publicly? Do you notice something? This fear is not about something not working, but more about people seeing it not working. That's why procrastination spikes around anything involves being seen. And when we go into an even deeper layer, fear of judgment is often tied to a deeper fear, the loss of belonging. If I change, will I still belong? Because if you start earning more than your friends, take a different life path, become more confident, show up more visibly, you might outgrow a certain dynamic or friend group. And a part of you knows that. So procrastination becomes a way for you to stay familiar, to stay accepted, and to stay the old version of you. Well, let me be honest with you. No matter what you do, someone is going to judge you. Someone is going to judge you for just existing. So, why not do something that makes you happy since you can't avoid judgment at all? The next reason will be a cognitive one, which is task ambiguity. What does it mean? It basically means that our brain doesn't know what the next step is. Our brain is constantly trying to save energy, so when a task is vague, complex, or undefined, the brain will perceive it as a mentally taxing thing. For example, work on my business, write a book, post consistently on social media, start a YouTube channel. These are very vague and they are not tasks, they are projects or an end goal. An end goal or project contains dozens or hundreds of decisions. Our brain will immediately sense the complexity. So instead of engaging or doing it, it quietly does something else, postponing, procrastinating. Every unclear task forces our brain to answer multiple questions like, where do I start? What's first? Is this the right step? What if I waste time doing the wrong thing? Each question requires mental energy, and when too many decisions appear at once, our brain experiences decision fatigue. It makes our brains overloaded, and when that happens, our brain chooses the easiest option, avoidance. Suddenly, you have the urge to clean your room, watch a video, or clear your email. So, what should we do instead? The key lies in specificity. The more specific a task is, the more likely we are to start it. Let's say we have two instructions here. One is work on your YouTube channel. Another is write 3 video titles. Which instruction is clearer? Write 3 video titles, right? Our brain can immediately imagine doing it, which reduces cognitive load. When the load is lighter, action becomes easier. So the real issue here is not a lack of discipline or motivation, but there is no enough structure for our brains to begin with. The next time you find yourself procrastinating or feel overwhelmed with a goal, ask yourself, what is the next tiny step that I can take? This is an interesting reason. Sometimes, even when the task is clear and you know what you should be doing, you might still procrastinate. In psychology, it's called present bias. Present bias, also known as temporal discounting, is a psychological tendency where humans value immediate rewards more than future rewards. In other words, our brain is wired to prioritize what feels good right now over what benefits us later. If we were still living in ancient times, this mechanism made a lot of sense because at that point in time, survival depended on immediate needs. Like, we need food now, we need safety now, and energy conservation now. The future was uncertain, but the evolution doesn't change with time, and immediate rewards still win in current times. Let's say, for example, you are deciding between two options. Work on a project that will benefit your life in 6 months. Watch a video, check your social media, or do something entertaining right now. Logically, you know the long-term project matters more, but emotionally, your brain feels something different. The long-term rewards are abstract, but the short-term reward is tangible. You get to feel it instantly. Those dopamine hits from scrolling, notification, or entertainment are immediate. Your brain will say like, let's just do this for 5 minutes, and you blink your eyes and an hour pass. We now live in an environment full of instant gratification, and these things are designed to give our brains quick dopamine rewards. So for sure, when your brain compares between immediate stimulation and long-term effort, the short-term option definitely feels way more attractive. It's just our brain responding exactly the way it was designed to. Another reason why present bias happens is that we psychologically treat our future self like a stranger. Research shows that when people think about their future self, the brain activates similar region as when they think about other people. It's essentially your brain saying that future me will deal with it when you procrastinate. And I personally am guilty of this as well. I always tend to say things like, future Skye will think about the solution, or future me will fix this later. But when tomorrow comes, I'm still the same person with the same brain, and nothing changes. So sometimes procrastination is simply your brain choosing comfort today over benefit tomorrow. If procrastination is something that you have struggled with, I hope this video helped you to see it from a different perspective. Of course, the reasons I talk about above are not exhaustive. There are still a lot of other reasons, but these are the common ones that I see a lot in people. So let me know if any of the reasons actually resonate with you. I would love to hear your experience. And if you enjoyed this video and want more psychological based content like this, don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel. Thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!